Message to anyone that's turned 20. I can't believe this is my last day today, ever being 19. And I'm gonna talk about what I learned throughout my 19 years of life. Like, the most important lessons that I've learned, especially in this past year. I think I learned more in this past year by myself than probably in my last 18 years. Because this has probably been, I'll be honest, one of the most loneliest years of my life, but also like the year where I've been the most out, like, outside my house as well. What I mean by lonely is like I haven't really had like too much like personal friends. I probably talked to more people yesterday than I did in the last 6 months. Is that fully true? Let me think about that. Maybe that is true. I think I talked to more people yesterday than in the past 6 months. And if I can go back to the previous 6 months, I would tell myself, to really go out more first. This is the first thing the first really important lesson. If you're like the age of 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, whatever age it is, go outside as much as possible. You might be saying, oh yeah, there are people outside doing bad stuff. Not every single person is doing something bad. Really, especially you might be a little bit antisocial. Just go out and because I'm really, I stutter a lot, I get very anxious, and it's hard for me to talk to a lot of people. I don't really go out a lot. I usually just go to the gym and come back home, and sometimes wrestling practice. I'm still getting back into it, I don't know. This it's very complicated, the whole thing, but I did engage with some people during wrestling practice. It was a way for me to, go out and be in an environment where everyone's trying to work hard towards a specific goal, which is to better themselves. And that's the second thing that is really important. Try to better yourself every single day. Every single day. I mean, that sounds like so basic, being like, oh yeah, what's the point of that? What I mean by this is like when you wake up in the morning and you like a lot of people, first things first, a lot of people when they get up in the morning, they are miserable. I didn't know this, and maybe you are the type of person that is doing this. They wake up and they're just upset. They're just like, oh yeah, why do I have to be here? And well, my microphone's off. I'm gonna have to make sure this thing's on because it's a little weird, this whole thing. But anyways, a lot of people, get very angry, feel sorry for themselves, and if you've been maybe watching me for the past 6 months, you know that I had my worst 6 months ever. Probably this is probably the lowest period, and I brought it back. Like I dropped my GPA below a 1.0 at one point. Like for the first semester, this is my second year of college. So in the first year of college, I had a 3.7 GPA first semester and 4.0 GPA the second semester, and I was wrestling in college. I was a college starter, so it's not easy maintaining those high grades while you're like in practice and everything. That's the reason why in the first semester, when I had the practices and they were getting really intense towards that December period, that's where my grade dropped. Well, it was a 3.7, and in the second semester when I really locked in, because right when my season ended, right when like around March time, so I still had like a couple months left till just free time. So that's when my grade I locked in and got a 4.0 GPA. But in the first semester, I had below a 1.0 GPA, had a lot of stuff going on, which I don't really want to get into all of it, but it was pretty bad, and it was a pretty lonely time for me. But every single day still, I got up in the morning, and I like had it in my head, like I got up excited, and I'm like, this is the videos I'm gonna edit today. I'm so thankful to even start doing this. If you told me like a year ago that I would be making YouTube videos, like I'd be like, what are you talking about? I was making content like a year ago. I started in April, like 26th, something like that. That's when I started posting. And I started posting faceless content first, like on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. Because I was just really self-conscious. I didn't even use my real name. I used a fake name. And once I got to over 1,000 followers, that's when I switched to my actual real name. And I think people started seeing it, but I had 1,000 followers by that point, so it didn't look too embarrassing. And at the time, I didn't really include my face still. I was just including my wrestling clips. I was so self-conscious, I thought like everyone was gonna judge me, which to be fair, I had a lot more people than usual because I was a college wrestler from a big area. Like, I came from a big high school, and they're a very sports, like, they're highly like into sports, and I was the only college wrestler. So, and I had like pictures of me wrestling in some top ranked teams, D1, D3 teams. So I was being watched a lot. So when I started posting content, I was very self-conscious because I didn't want people to be like, oh yeah, because I was getting all this attention back then. So I didn't want people being like, oh yeah, you're just that stupid guy. I was also very self-conscious about my looks back then, which is this is something that helped me a lot. With the, every single time I put the camera here, whether my hair looks good, bad, whatever. And I was so self-conscious about my looks back then. It got to a point where when I started like posting my actual self, I actually grew like a full beard, so people wouldn't like look at my content like be, oh yeah, that's like him. When in the past, like they would be like, oh yeah, he's just an entirely different person. I was so like embarrassed. I used to tell my old college teammates to call me by my last name because I didn't want to be associated with my old like self. I felt like back then, I don't know. I was just lost of identity. I had a couple stuff happen with my wrestling team my senior year that made me very self-conscious back then. But anyways, yeah, that was also another reason why I was scared of posting my actual self. But when I go over that leap, it was actually really bad because the beard looked really awful. As you can notice, I don't have it anymore. I think one of the reasons why the beard looked so bad was because I think I grew like neck hair at one point, but I got rid of that. But I feel like the beard was really big and it made me look like very old. Like it made me look like 20 years older, and I don't know really. And also my hair was very short at one point. So a lot of people saw myself, or my hair looked really bad with a beard. I don't know. My beard looked really bad to a point where it just made myself look really bad. I was getting treated really bad in public. Like I had my teachers, like I noticed like when my teachers were being like extra, helping me out a lot more. I was not getting any of that help. I wasn't getting no respect at all. So I'm like, all right, this beard clearly is not looking good because people are treating me really bad. I activated my old Instagram account for a day to announce a transfer. I was transferring colleges to wrestle. I actually transferred, but I was just announcing it. Anyways, it was halfway through the season, and I had over 140 people, a lot of girls, follow me. So clearly the beard wasn't looking the greatest. But I don't have any people anymore in my content. Can't really. I only have like 8 following, like 8 people I know. But to get back to the point, really, you really go out every single day, really, and do something that sucks. Like for example, for me, go out every single day and like walk around. Maybe go to a place where I know some of my old friends are working at, and maybe strike up a conversation. I actually yesterday, saw there was these 2 people that I used to know who were actually yelling my name, being like happy to see me, and I ignored them, and I feel really bad now that I did this. The reason why I did this was because they didn't support they were laughing at my content in the beginning, so I took it personal. But at the same time, it's not that deep. I should have realized that. I shouldn't have ignored them because I feel really bad. I might see them in the future, so hopefully I can make that up. But yeah, I just take a little I used to take a little personal, the fact that no one was supporting the content, but not everyone's meant to support. It's weird because people are gonna jump in the bandwagon eventually, just like how they did with everything. But that doesn't really matter. The point is, yeah, I'm getting a little lost of words right now. This is probably a great spot to end. I'm turning 19 in around a couple hours, and a message to myself now is first, 1, fix your sleep schedule because I didn't get a lot of sleep. I slept for like 2 hours, and I went back to sleep for 1 hour. Like 3 hours later, so my sleep's been pretty awful. I feel really bad. Number 2, stop checking who's watching you, whether it be like stories or anything like that, because every single time you see a name and you get happy by it, you're putting other people on a pedestal, and by you getting happy every single time you see that person's name, you're performing like without even realizing for other people. You're performing for their attention. You want to get that goal because you want to be that version. You want to improve your life. You don't want to get that goal because you want other people to see that you had the goal. You know, you don't want that. So I have big goals. I feel like I'm really like in this past month, like last 3 months, my account completely blew up on shorts and everything. I switched my content up now, but I know how to make content. So now it's all the analytics and everything are really good, and I really expect by next year to really completely blow my Instagram account and blow it up to a point where I can really make serious money because I'm switching from wrestling to fitness content. My wrestling content was blowing up, but I'm like, wait, how am I gonna monetize this? Like, how am I gonna? This is not even gonna help me out in the future. What is this doing? This is just giving me some dopamine. So that's why I switched from wrestling to showing my fitness and like my actual journey, like my actual lifts and my story. So yeah, that was pretty much that. You know, very excited to be 20. Now all my lifts, I'm gonna talk about my lifts actually before I finish this. So as I'm turning 20 now, you know, my lifts won't be as impressive. I won't be like, oh yeah, teenagers being able to zerker squat this much. So let me talk about my lifts. My zerker squat, which is arguably the most impressive one. You know, I post my zerker squat clips a lot because it's the only one I really record because no one's like in the way or anything. I don't want to make people uncomfortable with recording. So that's the only one I do. And I just put, what I do basically is I put my water bottle down and I put my phone, I zoom out my phone on 0.5 and then I put my phone like against the bottle and it records it. And it's like putting really good quality. So some people might think I have a full setup. I just have a water bottle. I'm not doing anything. But let me talk about my lifts because I'm turning 20 now, so it won't be as impressive anymore. Like because in the past I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm lifting these numbers as a teenager, as a 19-year-old, you know. So zerker squat, I did my highest I ever done was 375 for 3 reps, like a slight pause at bottom, and compared to last year, like, and I'm at the exact same weight as I was last year. I was doing 265 for like 3 reps. So it's just crazy, this huge jump. I'm expecting more. You know, I've only been training circle squats now for a year, so and it's been a little bit inconsistent. I had 2 month period off, another couple months off. So I'm really expecting to be 4 or 5. I was expecting to get 4 or 5 by my birthday, but things got in the way. So I'm playing it safe. I don't want to snap my back. An incline dumbbell bench. The highest I ever done was 100 for 11 reps. I haven't tested higher than that. I probably should just grab the 105s and do it because now my form's good. I started doing incline double bench a year ago as well. Before I only did Smith machine. I had Planet Fitness, so I didn't even do my legs, and I used Smith machine. Overhead press. I've only been doing this for like 6 months. I feel like now, 6 months, and I'm currently at 170 for 6 reps. That's really good. I feel like. And let me think of my other lifts that are really important. Trap bar. Farmer carries. Not a lot of people track this, but this is really important for wrestling. And my highest I've ever done was 390 for 15 yards, which is insane. I feel like picking up 390 pounds and walking with it for 15 yards. You know, I feel like that's pretty good. And I did 265, or 255, I think, or 250 or so. I think it was 250. I did 250 for 90 yards, so that was insane. And yeah, I feel like that's all my PRs really. My hang clean, it's not really that high right now. I did 165 for 3 reps. It's pretty bad right now. I haven't done it for too long, so I'm expecting that to be a lot higher. But yeah, that's pretty much that. You know, I'm very excited to keep going. I'm really optimistic about this year. Hopefully, I can look back. I might record daily, year-round thing, and hopefully by next year, I look back and be like, oh yeah, you just survived that darkest point, because it's a lot. Like, I'm coming. And this is the first year I've ever not wrestled. I've never had a season where I didn't wrestle. This is the first year I didn't compete. I've probably wrestled in the 5 practices this entire, wrestling year. And if you know me, I used to go to double practices. Like on Sunday, I used to go to a club practice and then go to a second club practice. I used to wake up early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, do my runs, then after school, I'll go to school. Then after school, I'll walk 30 minutes to the gym, then come back to the school, and then do double practices. So I used to grind like crazy, but I'm really excited to get back after. My whole body's getting better. I feel a lot more stronger and just very optimistic. Hopefully,